So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video we will talk about the specific sympathomimetic drugs. So they are actually endogenous catecholamines. Endogenous means that are produced in the body, and catecholam means they are having this benzyl amine ring structure. That is, this is benzene ring, and apart from that you have this side chain containing the amino group. So they are of this category, and then they are called endogenous, produced in the body, the catecholamines that are having this structure. So there are three. They are norepinephrine, epinephrine, and dopamine. As you know, norepinephrine, it is the other name of it is noradrenaline, and another can be the levaretirol, the levareterenol. The levareterenol and noradrenaline, both of them, they are part of the norepinephrine group. They act equally on the alpha 1 and alpha 2 receptors. They have certain effects on the beta 1 receptors, but no effect on the beta 2 receptors. So you can say that your norepinephrine is a type of alpha non-selective type of agonist, but it has certain effects on beta 1 as well. Now, what does alpha do on the blood vessels? Whenever the alpha receptors are acted upon, when they act on the blood vessels and they increase the total peripheral resistance, due to which the total peripheral resistance is increased. When resistance is increased, you need more blood pressure. So cytosolic blood pressure as well as the diastolic blood pressure, both of them are increased. So systolic and diastolic, both of them, they are increased because of increase in blood vessel tone and total peripheral resistance. Now, because the alpha 1 and alpha 2, they act on this thing and they increase the total peripheral resistance, the heart rate is increased. That is known as positive chronotropic effect, but that effect is overcome by the baroreceptor reflex. But we have the positive inotropic effect, that is increased force of contraction, and this is induced by this beta 1 type of receptors, and this is a maintained type of effect. So alpha 1, alpha 2, they increase total peripheral resistance. Because of that, the systolic and diastolic blood pressure is increased. Because of that, there is chronotropic effect, your heart rate increases, and that can be overcome by the baroreceptor reflex. But due to beta 1 activation, you have your inotropic effect, that is increased force of contraction, and this increased force of contraction is a maintained effect. When we go to the second type of endogenous catecholamine, we have epinephrine, which is also known as adrenaline. It has equal effects on alpha and beta receptors, so it is both alpha and beta non-selective agonist. On alpha, whenever it acts, it causes vasoconstriction, similar to that, increasing the total peripheral resistance. On beta receptors, when it acts on beta 1, it has positive chronotropic effect, that is, it is going to increase the heart rate. But on beta 2, it has positive inotropic effect. There is increased force of contraction. Whenever there is increased force of contraction, your total peripheral resistance should actually increase, but the total peripheral resistance decreases because we have two things, that beta 2 also causes vasodilation. Because of this vasodilation, your total peripheral resistance decreases and your diastolic blood pressure also decreases. So alpha 1 was causing vasoconstriction, beta 1 was causing chronotropic effect, that is increased heart rate. Beta 2, it was causing inotropic effect, that was increasing the force of contraction of your heart, but because of its vasodilatory effect, it was decreasing the total peripheral resistance, and hence the diastolic blood pressure was being decreased. So your norepinephrine increases both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, but epinephrine, because of its effect on beta 2, it decreases the diastolic blood pressure. Also, beta 2 has functions on the skeletal muscles. If you have not watched my video of the beta 2 location, you can always watch it on that location. So when we go to the beta 2 receptor, this diagram, we can see it has effect on skeletal muscles and also on the blood vessels. In the blood vessels, it is causing vasodilation, and on the skeletal muscles, it is causing contraction. So whenever you have vasodilation in the blood vessels, what will happen? The total peripheral resistance will decrease, but in the heart, because of its increased heart rate, you have the positive chronotropic effect as well as positive inotropic effect. So as I was telling you, that in the positive inotropic effect, you will have increased force of contraction, but due to vasodilation, the total peripheral resistance will decrease. So diastolic blood pressure will decrease, but the systolic blood pressure would increase. And because of this whole thing, the mean blood pressure would also increase. Same thing in the skeletal muscles, there will be contraction, and increased contraction will cause increased blood supply during exercise. This will ensure that thing. So for alpha, you have vasoconstriction. For beta 1, you have positive chronotropic effect. For beta 2, you have positive ionotropic effect. And your total peripheral resistance decreases, but diastolic blood pressure also decreases, but systolic remains the same. Why is systolic increasing? Because of this positive ionotropic effect, right? So this was the whole thing that you can see in epinephrine. Now let's go to dopamine. As I've told you in previous when we were discussing dopamine receptors, that it has been divided into D1 and D2. The D1 was majorly related to sodium excretion in the smooth muscles and renal functions. When smooth muscles, whenever you are throwing sodium out of the cell, what happens to the cell? The cell is being relaxed. Similarly, renal excretion, it has increased blood supply. In the renal function, you have increased blood supply. For D2 type of receptor that are present in nerve terminals in central nervous system, you have a reward stimulus that is similar to addiction. Now these dopamine receptors, they are very much targeted for antipsychotic activity, because what happens is that dopamine produces reward stimulus. So that is why they have been targeted for antipsychotic drugs. Now they are saying if in the basal ganglia of the brain, the dopamine is decreased. Because of this decreased dopamine, what will happen? You will get Parkinson's disease. And this Parkinson's disease, it can be treated with a type of drug that is levodopa, that goes into your body and is converted into dopamine. So this is what happens when you have decreased dopamine in your basal ganglia. So I hope you understood each and everything that was given here. Norepinephrine, ephedrine and dopamine, three of them, they are endogenous catecholamines and they have specific sympathomimetic drugs. Now epinephrine acts on alpha 1, alpha 2 and beta 1. Epinephrine acts on all the alpha 1, all the alpha, the beta 1, beta 2, and dopamine acts on D1 group as well as D2 group of the dopamine receptors. Decreased dopamine in basal ganglia produces Parkinson's disease, and it can be treated by levodopa, which upon entering your body converts into dopamine. So that was all for endogenous catecholamines. In the next video, we will be discussing the directly acting sympathomimetics, inshallah. Till then, please keep on liking, keep on sharing, keep on subscribing to my videos so that you learn everything related to pharmacology through these flowcharts type of thing.